What's going on, guys? I'm back here again with another video, and this one is going to be on kind of a sort of related subject to one of my other videos about trying Degrassi for the first time. And this one will be kind of a different kind of video because I'm actually rating the thing that I tried called edibles, man, which are, to say the least, at least for me, like Degrassi on steroids, dude. Like, I'm telling you, well, not necessarily on steroids, just like 10 ounces of melatonin that just knocks me the F out, dude. And, most of the edibles I've had have tasted terrible anyway. It's mostly been like the chocolates that they're like not even really edible for, lack of a better term, no pun intended. But yeah, they were nasty tasting. I've also had the brownie edible. And this one, from my experience, is by far the most strong and one I probably stay away from the most. I mean, they taste better than the chocolates usually, but they still kind of taste like, still kind of tastes like garbage. But the effects of edibles for me just like completely knock me to sleep and make me like almost too paranoid, dude. Like, I've had some pretty paranoid experiences on edibles the few times that I've done them, and I don't do them anymore. I just stick to the bud and wax for the most part nowadays. The Bong & 8 or 9000 you can never go wrong with, you know what I mean? I got the Mushroom King Bongington right now that I got off the Smoke Cartel recently. I recommend those guys, by the way. They sell some pretty good products. I don't really recommend buying glass bongs online, though, because I got this one, and it came to me broken. The filter was actually in 3 pieces. I put some tape on it, put it back together. I mean, I'm not going to go on a total tangent about that right now, but, we're talking about edibles here, which, I mean, it's kind of related, but, for some people, they say, though, edibles just don't affect them, and that's why they don't do them. But for me, dude, it's the complete opposite. I don't know why. Like, I'm a skinny-ass dude. Like, I've got, I think, a pretty fast metabolism rate. I mean, I don't know if you've seen me, but, dude, I'm like a 130-pound fucking twig. Alright, I mean, I don't know why. I just eat a ton. I think it just runs in my family because a lot of my family is also small. I think it's just something that runs in the family. We're not, gigantic mutants like some people are. You know what I mean? But even then, edibles just destroy me, dude. And most people have said, hey, how do edibles affect you so much? You're like a twig. You're like 130 pounds, bro. Like, how do edibles not affect you? And I'm like, I don't know. They just destroy me. Like, I will get extremely paranoid and then just crash after like the first few hours. And overall, not really my favorite experience on, anything related to Degrassi. I prefer to stick with the classic Bongington or the joint, or maybe, some hits off of the vape pen or whatever. I've also got a disposable with me right now that tastes amazing, by the way. I do like some of the disposables they have out nowadays, honestly, so they taste great and provide a pretty decent high, you know what I mean? At least where I live, they have some pretty damn good disposables in my state. But, some people say it different, though, like wax does that for them, but for me, like, when I'm smoking wax or, like, hitting a vape pen or whatever, I get more social, and it's a nice feeling. Same thing with the bong a lot of the time, unless, it's one of those strains where it's like a complete couch lock, you know what I mean? Then I'm just, like, watching TV and enjoying my night, like after work, you know what I mean? I'll hit the Bongington and watch some TV. That's what I like to do personally. Everyone's different. If you can't smoke, you know what I mean? I suppose edibles are probably more for you. If you're someone with asthma or whatever, it's probably better. But, I prefer smoking personally any day over edibles. I mean, dude, give me my Bongington, a bag of Lay's chips at the end of the night, and turning on some Aqua Teen Hunger Force or whatever. The Ted series that's come out recently, which I've been binge watching the hell out of, by the way. I watched it multiple times already. The series is just so good, man. About as good as the movies are. Check it out, by the way. It's hilarious and great storylines too, man. It's probably one of the best shows that's come out so far this year, man. and in the past couple of years in general, dude. Like, I like the show Royal Crackers too. I also recommend that. Shout out to them. And I hope the Smiling Friends gets another season too. I've been binge watching a lot of these shows recently late at night with the Bongington. And man, that's the way I prefer it though. You know, I don't like to get completely zooted. And when you do edibles, you know, there's a totally different chemical that comes out of it because of the way you consume it. It's not, you know, you're inhaling smoke or vapor or whatever, and you know, you're mainly just getting the THC component. You're getting a different kind of high because there's a different chemical that comes out, you know, and into your brain when you eat edibles. And it's like almost a totally different experience. It's a lot more of a body high, man. I mean, probably one of the biggest body highs like you might ever have off of the grass is off of edibles, man. And personally, I don't enjoy it though. I don't enjoy the kind of body high it gives me, and it makes me paranoid as fuck. And you know, it's just not for me. For other people, it might be, you know. A lot of women, you know, seem to prefer it sometimes, you know, especially the ones that can't smoke. And fair play, you know, you like what you like, and no judgment there. Also, I'm saying these other terms, by the way, off track, but, you know, I'm saying these terms like Bongington and all that just so I don't get my video, like, you know, blackballed, basically, by YouTube. I mean, I might, I don't know. Who knows, we'll see, though, I guess. You know, you're kind of playing that game when you're doing stuff like this every time, but you know, I haven't tried these like drinks that they sell. I don't know if I want to do it though, considering it probably have the same kind of effect as, you know, the regular kind of like chocolate edibles do. So I don't know about that, man, but they do have them at dispensaries, and I haven't really gotten into them personally. It's like they have like seltzers and stuff like that, kind of like how they have alcohol seltzers, but except with the grass, you know what I mean, with the weed. And some people like these from what I've heard, you know, some people have been getting into them. It's like something that's been kind of trending a bit, and I don't know about these either. I haven't really read too much about experiences and if it's, you know, exactly like how eating a chocolate edible would, you know, be, but my best guess is it probably is around the same thing, and that's why I don't know if I want to do it, man. But I'd have to be in the right space, because I'd probably end up getting paranoid as fuck, dude. I've had a few paranoid experiences off of smoking too much when I was more inexperienced, even off of, you know, just regular bud, you know what I mean? And edibles are like on a whole other level for me. You know, when I do an edible, man, I can feel it in the back of my head at first, like just this insane heat at the back of my head, and then you start thinking, oh shit, you know, I hope no one's looking through my window right now. But I mean, I don't know if it's that bad, but you know, it's still, you get paranoid kind of, and just for whatever reason, it's like indescribable, dude. If you've done it yourself, you probably know what I'm talking about. But you know, I can't totally 100% explain it, you know, and those who have done it themselves would know, like I said. So, do I recommend edibles for everybody? No. I mean, I don't recommend weed for everybody, you know, at all, you know, in general. Because, you know, obviously it affects everybody a little bit differently. Some people get too paranoid, and if you're like one of those people, I don't recommend it. If you get way too paranoid off of it, you know, fair enough. And it's kind of the same with, like, anything like that, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, not that it's on the level of, like, you know, alcohol or anything. Even edibles aren't. You know, I've gotten way more messed up off of alcohol before, and I don't even drink anymore. But, you know, edibles, man, like, they just knock me out, man. I mean, not as much as alcohol will if, you know, I drink that much, but still not something I do again. You know, with drinking, though, that was a bit different because, you know, I'd feel uppity at first, and then I would just get knocked out, man, after, like, you know, having 4 or 5 beers or whatever. And that was kind of the point where I started getting almost like, you know, a problem, kind of. Luckily, you know, I've, you know, been sober for a good while now. And I don't know if I'll ever drink again, honestly. I mean, if I do, it'd be something light. I'm not going for, like, you know, these, you know, rums I was going for before and all that stuff that were kind of, you know, almost on the level of like whiskey, like Jack Daniels and stuff like that. I'm not going towards that if I do that, but same thing with edibles. Almost, I definitely won't do edibles again though. I'd probably rather drink again before I do edibles, to be quite honest with you. I'm not saying I'm going to start drinking again, but you know, I'd rather do that than like an edible. Either way, what are your thoughts on edibles and, you know, all the edibles out there, you know? But yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace.